In a world filled with constant noise and distractions, our minds are often in overdrive, flooded with a relentless stream of thoughts. Joseph Nguyen, in his insightful book, Don't Believe Everything You Think, offers a refreshing perspective on how to break free from this cycle of negativity and cultivate a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Nguyen, a renowned mindfulness expert and author, has dedicated his life to helping people overcome their inner critic and realize their full potential. Don't Believe Everything You Think is a compelling guide that encourages readers to question their thoughts and beliefs, recognizing that they are not always an accurate reflection of reality. Nguyen masterfully combines his personal experiences with his deep understanding of mindfulness and cognitive behavioral therapy to deliver a transformative message of hope and empowerment. At the heart of Nguyen's message lies a simple yet profound truth. You are not your thoughts. We often mistakenly identify with our thoughts, believing them to be an integral part of who we are. However, Nguyen argues that our thoughts are merely fleeting mental events like clouds passing through the sky. By recognizing that we are not our thoughts, we gain a sense of perspective and create space for more positive and empowering beliefs to emerge. Nguyen emphasizes that our thoughts do not define us. We have the power to choose which thoughts we entertain and which ones we let go of. Our minds are incredibly powerful tools, capable of creating beautiful and inspiring things. However, they can also be our own worst enemies, trapping us in a cycle of negative thinking that can be difficult to break free from. Nguyen explains that our minds often operate on autopilot, replaying past hurts, anxieties, and limiting beliefs. These thoughts, often based on fear and insecurity, can distort our perception of reality, leading us to make decisions and take actions that are not in our best interests. For example, we might avoid pursuing a dream job because of the thought, "I'm not good enough," or sabotage a relationship because of the fear of getting hurt. By becoming aware of the tricks our minds play on us, we can begin to challenge these thoughts and create a more positive and fulfilling reality for ourselves. Don't Believe Everything You Think asserts a powerful concept. Our thoughts are not necessarily true representations of reality. Nguyen argues that we often mistake our thoughts for facts, accepting them without question. This unquestioning acceptance, however, can lead to unnecessary suffering. Hidden beneath the surface lies a vast reservoir of subconscious beliefs, past experiences, and ingrained patterns that shape our perceptions. These hidden influences color our thoughts, often without our conscious awareness. By questioning the validity of our thoughts, we create space for new perspectives and possibilities to emerge. This process of inquiry is the first step towards breaking free from the chains of our own thinking. The central premise of Nguyen's work hinges on the understanding that our thoughts are intricately linked to our emotional well-being. When we cling to negative, fearful, or self-critical thoughts, we inevitably experience suffering. These thoughts trigger a cascade of emotional responses, anxiety, stress, sadness, that can permeate every aspect of our lives. Imagine your mind as a garden. If you constantly plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, your garden will inevitably be overrun with weeds. These weeds choke out the possibility of joy, peace, and contentment from flourishing. Negative thoughts breed negative emotions, which in turn fuel more negative thoughts. While the connection between thoughts and suffering may seem disheartening, Nguyen offers a message of hope and empowerment. He asserts that we have the power to choose which thoughts we entertain and which ones we let go of. This power of choice lies at the heart of his message. We are not victims of our thoughts, we are the creators of our reality. By becoming aware of our thought patterns and recognizing their potential for harm, we can begin to make conscious choices about what we allow to take root in our minds. Just as a gardener carefully tends to their garden, removing weeds and nurturing desired plants, we too can cultivate a more peaceful and fulfilling inner landscape. By choosing to focus on positive, empowering thoughts, we create the conditions for joy, resilience, and inner peace to blossom. Nguyen emphasizes that our suffering often stems from our tendency to believe our thoughts without question. He argues that our minds are like projectors, casting a constant stream of thoughts onto the screen of our awareness. We often mistake these projections for reality, forgetting that they are just fleeting mental events. Imagine watching a movie. The images on the screen evoke emotions, fear, joy, sadness. But we understand that these emotions are temporary, tied to the narrative unfolding before us. We can choose to get swept away by the story our thoughts are weaving, or we can step back and observe them with detachment. This shift in perspective allows us to see the illusory nature of our thoughts and break free from their grip. Nguyen introduces the concept of the pain body, a term coined by spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle. The pain body is a collection of past emotional pain that we carry within us. It consists of unresolved trauma, negative beliefs, and suppressed emotions that can resurface unexpectedly, hijacking our thoughts and behaviors. When we experience a trigger, a situation, person, or thought pattern that resonates with our past pain, the pain body can become activated, causing us to react in ways that are out of alignment with our true selves. We might lash out in anger, withdraw in fear, or engage in self-destructive behaviors. When we believe the thoughts and emotions that arise from the pain body, we give it power over us. By recognizing the pain body for what it is, a collection of old, stagnant energy, we can begin to heal and release it. Central to Nguyen's philosophy is the practice of detachment. Detachment, in this context, doesn't mean becoming emotionally cold or indifferent. Instead, it involves cultivating a healthy distance between ourselves and our thoughts and emotions. Imagine a leaf floating down a stream. The leaf is carried along by the current, just as our thoughts and emotions can carry us away, if we allow them to. We can observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, recognizing that they are impermanent and don't define who we are. By practicing techniques like mindfulness meditation, self-inquiry, and cognitive reframing, we can develop a greater sense of self-awareness and learn to respond to our thoughts and emotions with more skillfulness and compassion. Sarah, a successful lawyer introduced in Nguyen's book, constantly battled with her inner critic. Despite her achievements, she felt plagued by self-doubt and a relentless need to prove herself. Nguyen uses Sarah's experience to illustrate how perfectionism, often masked as a drive for excellence, can become a heavy burden. Sarah's mind was a battleground of negative self-talk. "You're not good enough. You'll never be as successful as your colleagues. You're going to fail," echoed through her thoughts, keeping her trapped in a cycle of anxiety and overwork. These thoughts, rooted in a deep-seated fear of failure, drove her to work long hours, sacrificing her well-being in pursuit of an unattainable standard. Nguyen highlights how Sarah's perfectionism, rather than propelling her forward, was actually holding her back. Through Sarah's journey, Nguyen demonstrates how unexamined thoughts, even seemingly positive ones like the desire to excel, can have detrimental effects on our lives. John, another individual whose story Nguyen shares, found himself crippled by regret and guilt over past mistakes. Years after a failed business venture, he remained trapped in a cycle of self-blame and what-ifs. John's experience sheds light on how dwelling on the past can prevent us from living fully in the present moment. Every time John thought about the past, his mind would replay the same painful memories, intensifying his feelings of regret and shame. These thoughts became a prison, preventing him from moving forward and embracing new opportunities. He isolated himself from loved ones, convinced that he didn't deserve happiness after what he perceived as his failures. Nguyen explains that John, like many of us, had fallen into the trap of believing that his past defined him. By clinging to past regrets, he was inadvertently blocking himself from experiencing the joy and fulfillment available in the present moment. Mary, a young woman longing for love and connection, found herself repeatedly pushing away potential partners. Nguyen uses Mary's experience to illustrate how fear, often operating on a subconscious level, can sabotage our attempts to create the very things we desire most. Despite her yearning for intimacy, Mary harbored a deep-seated fear of being hurt or rejected. This fear, stemming from childhood experiences of abandonment, manifested as a series of self-sabotaging thoughts and behaviors. She would convince herself that she wasn't worthy of love, that men were untrustworthy, or that any relationship was doomed to fail. Nguyen explains that Mary's fear, while seemingly protecting her from potential pain, was actually preventing her from experiencing the love and connection she so desperately craved. Her thoughts, fueled by past wounds, had become a self-imposed barrier to intimacy. The first step towards changing our thinking patterns, according to Nguyen, is to become aware of our thoughts. He emphasizes the importance of mindfulness, a practice that involves paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Mindfulness is not about emptying our minds of thoughts. Rather, it's about observing our thoughts without getting swept away by them. Imagine you are sitting by a stream, watching leaves float by. Each leaf represents a thought entering your mind. In a mindful state, you simply observe the leaves, the thoughts, without judgment or attachment. You don't try to stop them or cling to them. You simply acknowledge their presence and let them pass. Nguyen suggests incorporating mindfulness into daily life through practices such as meditation, mindful breathing, and body scan meditations. Once we develop greater awareness of our thoughts through mindfulness, we can begin to question their validity. Nguyen advocates for self-inquiry, a process of gently challenging our thoughts and beliefs. He encourages us to ask ourselves questions like, is this thought true? What evidence do I have to support this thought? Is this thought helpful? This process of self-inquiry is not about judging ourselves for having negative thoughts. It's about approaching our thoughts with curiosity and a willingness to see things from a new perspective. Often, when we take the time to examine our thoughts objectively, we realize that they are based on assumptions, past conditioning, or fear, rather than on reality. By questioning these beliefs, we can begin to dismantle the negative thought patterns that keep us stuck. Cognitive reframing, also known as cognitive restructuring, is a powerful technique for changing our thinking patterns by changing the way we perceive situations. Nguyen explains that our thoughts are not facts, they are interpretations of events. And often, these interpretations are skewed by our biases, assumptions, and past experiences. Cognitive reframing is like cleaning the smudge off the window, allowing us to see the situation more objectively. It involves identifying the negative thought patterns that are distorting our perception and then consciously choosing to focus on more balanced and realistic thoughts. By practicing cognitive reframing, we can train our minds to focus on the positive, to see possibilities instead of limitations, and to approach challenges with greater resilience. Nguyen offers several techniques for cognitive reframing, such as identifying and challenging cognitive distortions, finding evidence to support or refute our thoughts, and looking for alternative explanations for events. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in the endless cycle of to-dos and worries. Nguyen's teachings offer a pathway to finding peace by bringing our attention to the present moment. Focus on the here and now, the sun on our skin, the taste of coffee, a loved one's laughter. Mindfulness practices help us become more present, tapping into a wellspring of peace. Our relationships are often a reflection of our inner state. When we're consumed by negative thoughts and emotions, it can be challenging to show up as our best selves in our interactions with others. Nguyen's teachings offer a roadmap for transforming our relationships by changing the way we relate to ourselves and others. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone while wearing noise-canceling headphones. You might hear their words, but you're not truly listening or connecting. This is how many of us approach our relationships when we're caught up in our own thoughts and judgments. By cultivating self-awareness and practicing detachment, we can begin to relate to others with greater empathy, compassion, and understanding. We learn to listen not just to their words, but also to the emotions beneath the surface. This shift in perspective allows us to create more harmonious and fulfilling relationships built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. We are not defined by our thoughts or our past. We are constantly evolving and capable of creating a life that aligns with our deepest values. Imagine a seed planted in the ground. It needs the right conditions to grow: sunlight, water, and nourishment. Negative thoughts and limiting beliefs can act like weeds, choking out our potential. By challenging these thoughts, we create the conditions for our true selves to blossom. Don't Believe Everything You Think is more than just a self-help book. It's a call to action. Joseph Nguyen guides readers to question the validity of our thoughts. We possess the power to choose which thoughts we entertain and which ones we release. This journey is about developing a healthier relationship with our minds, characterized by self-awareness and compassion. The path to a more fulfilling life begins with a single step: the decision to question everything we think.